Oh, thank you. Thank you for having us. And I would like to check in with everyone. Who's been to previous Ultra Speaking events with Eleanor? Anyone? Can also raise your virtual hand. Yeah, Dimitra. Dimitra, if you were, what do you know about us? What do we do?
For the Ultraspeaking. It is an incredible community that helps us unlock our secret reader and help you feel awesome and unlocked when you need to have a public Discord.
Amazing. I like the word unlock
Yeah.
because, in a way, we're actually not teaching you a lot of new skills. We believe you have a lot of what it takes to speak. Because all of you have friends, you're part of this community, so clearly you speak. So it's not that you cannot speak, and now I need to teach you how to move your mouth and how to make a sound. You do this. But then there are situations where all of a sudden we feel, I've lost the skill. I don't know. No, there's this public speaking and there is this speaking. So, what we're going to do today, if you're here, I believe you saw that it's nail your presentation with 10x less prep, and it's me. And first, I actually want to tell you why even I'm standing in front of you, because I came to Ultra Speaking, it was pandemic. I think it was 2021. And I believed that there are people who are natural at speaking, and there are me, people like me. Anyone else maybe feel something like that? Like there are naturals and then there's us. And anyone who's off camera, I would also say, I know it could be uncomfortable environment over here, but it's safe. So if you want to turn on your camera, it's just much more fun to be part of this interaction. You can stay off camera, totally fine, but it just makes it more fun. So basically, I just believe this thing that right now I'm a big proponent of that it's a myth. It's a big myth that there are those speakers who have it, they can speak, but then there are us. And the difference is what Ultra Speaking taught me, and then going into improv comedy that I do right now and playback theater that is also improvised, that no, the best speakers just believe something that we don't believe. And that actually very easy to rewire. Like again, there are no naturals and non-naturals. There's just some people who believe something. And anyone, can you guess what is it that they believe that we don't believe? You can unmute yourself and just speak. Any guesses? What do they believe?
They believe that they know what they're talking about.
Okay, yeah, they believe what they talk about, 100%. Anything else? Let me see if anything in chat. They trust themselves. Yeah, absolutely. They have something new to say. Absolutely. They're confident, which is a question mark. Are they? Yeah, exactly. They do trust themselves and they believe that their brain will deliver. The brain will deliver, especially when it matters. And often we call it confidence. And confidence is this interesting thing that we're like, hey, again, I develop it, I have it, I don't have it. But did everyone brush their teeth today? Sorry for a personal question. Yeah. Did you need to have confidence to brush your teeth? No, right? So, okay. So then there are those actions that we confidently do, which I would argue you confidently brush your teeth. There is no doubt of like, wait, what do I do? There's confidence in brushing your teeth. So when we speak about confidence, there's this interesting thing that confidence depends on overcoming obstacles. So when you brush your teeth, maybe there are people who may be unfortunate and have had some kind of injury, and now they need to develop confidence that they're not going to destroy their mouth brushing their teeth. It's a very stark example, but none of us are there. But with speaking, it's kind of similar. Again, we talk, we speak to other people, but all of a sudden we're in the spotlight and we feel, oh, wait, I don't know how to do it. So there's an obstacle. And usually that obstacle is actually quite internal. There's this nervousness, there's self-doubt, there's all of this stuff that comes out. There's physical sensations that some of us feel. I used to feel that I'm blushing, my throat would get so tight that it's like felt that I cannot get a word out of my mouth. But here's an interesting thing, especially when it comes to presentations. So a typical presentation for most of us, we start the presentation, we start, okay, cool, there's some confidence, we're going, and all of a sudden, oh, where was it going? Oh my gosh, that's it. And now what happens to the confidence? It's tanking. And now I'm kind of trying to survive this thing, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I was blinking. Where was going? I got to say something. And maybe, wait, guys, maybe there's something about confidence. There's a lot of research, I guess, but also some people. And now I'm rambling in my confidence. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm rambling. And all of this happening and my confidence is keep tanking. And now it's like that's it. And I'm just thinking, that's it. I lost it. And come on, Edge is recording this and it's just awful. And now what do we call? I have this huge confidence gap. Anyone can relate to this? Yeah, let's click emoji. I don't see the chat. Like, let's click some emojis if anyone can relate to this. Some form of this. Yeah, okay. We see a few people. But here's the interesting thing that when it comes to great presenters, let's see what happens with their confidence. So they also start. Okay, they go, they begin to present, and oh my gosh, they also blink. In fact, at the end, I can give you pointers to Steve Jobs presenting the very first iPhone where he actually made the mistake nobody ever sees. So they blink, their confidence also tank, but then boom, look at this, it returns back to the top. They may even think, oh wait, I'm beginning to ramble. Okay, there's a little bit of the hit to their confidence, but then it returns back. And then it's just basically, okay, I'm staying on track. Okay, let me, something else happened. Maybe someone asked a question, but the confidence stays. So the best speakers know that they will overcome obstacles. Yeah. So the best speakers trust their brain that the brain is going to deliver. Now, when it comes to preparation, because you may say, well, okay, it's all good, but you're speaking about preparing. Well, here's the thing. If you don't trust yourself, that if something goes wrong and I can navigate this, or if I lose my train of thought and I can navigate this, how does it affect your preparation also? Let's hear your thoughts. I'm not right now quizzing you. Generally, like think, oh my gosh, I'm going to prepare, but what if like I just physical
Yeah,
symptom?
it happens.
Yeah,
It just happens and you've got to recover.
yeah, exactly. It happens and you go to recover. But imagine if like it sounds, Georgia, like you have a bit of that confidence. Hey, it happens. You just have to recover.
Yeah, so I told a story at the storytelling night and I was so nervous because of other stuff. And I get on there and I think the first thing I say is like, oh, my heart's beating so fast. And just by saying that, it relieved it.
Okay. Yeah. My heart is beating so fast. I just said that, and it's fine. Anyone else ever done this? What Georgia said? Hey, I just named it and it was fine. No. Okay. For most of
Um,
us, it's like, oh my
I
gosh, I hope.
I do that as well. I'm sorry. Just
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
click the mute unmute button a bit late. So doing it now as well. I was yeah, especially with English being my second language, sometimes I just forget words and I just say it now.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
used to try to find the every perfect word, and now I'm just like, well, I don't know what it's called, something like this, and then it just goes away.
yeah. But here's the thing is that once you have that trust, even the fact that English also is my second language, you hear it in my accent, I may forget the word. And I even may ask you, like, hey guys, there's this English word. Keep forgetting, help me out with this. But before, oh my gosh, before I would have tried to memorize all of the sentences so that I don't forget the word. Yeah, Dimitri?
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing for me definitely now I have the confidence to admit that I'm stressed. But back in the day, I was getting so much confidence by over preparing a presentation. And when someone asked me a question, I had already the answer in the next slide.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a bit of the point about preparation. If we don't have trust, our preparation probably would be weeks, months, and we try to write everything perfectly out. We try to cover all of the bases just so that nothing happens that can throw us off our horse, right? So in today's presentation and interactive session, we're actually going to cover a few things that's not only about preparing, but first, how do we find clarity? And we may lose clarity. How do we speak with conviction? And when we have that, how do we actually prepare? And we start with clarity. And clarity is like this interesting thing that whenever we ramble, and anyone here find themselves sometimes rambling, I'm definitely at fault, can go off tangents, side quests, have a lot of ideas. Yeah. What's the number one thing that we need to do when we ramble? Like, okay, we're rambling. Ultimately, it's like we all need to do what?
I'll say pause.
Okay, yeah, okay. And you pause to get to what?
To gather myself and figure out where I am in my talk track.
Exactly. So we need to get back on track. We need to get back to the point. And before we discuss how do we do that, I actually would like to have a volunteer, just so that, hey, let's hear a speech on some topic, and let's see who would like to be a volunteer. I know that it's a very uncomfortable situation, but I would also say, okay, Dimitra is here, but before Dimitra goes, I remember when I was taking my first Ultraspeaking cohort, and literally, if you see me right now in front of you, if you told me back then that I would be doing this, I would have told you, sorry, you're nuts. That's exactly the language I would have used. This is not me. I can't do this. But one thing that Michael Gendler, the co-founder of Ultraspeaking, he said, raise your hand before you can think. And it became my mantra for a few years forward. Raise your hand before you can think. And that literally changed my life and my speaking more than any techniques. Just raise your hand before you can think. So today, it's a very safe environment. Everyone is here to support you and to celebrate you and to jump into something uncomfortable. So let's go with Dimitra. And let's find a topic for Dimitra. You can put it in the chat. You can speak it out. So something that plans. Okay. So plans and something. Yeah. Okay, Dimitra, let's do plans. Let's do plans.
Plans, okay.
Yeah. So what do you find most important about plans? Okay.
Should I start speaking? Yes.
Yeah, you start speaking.
So, plants is a wonderful thing that you can have always in your house. It's an experience to see how they can be affected from our own emotions and from our own words. It's really pretty to have them in your environment because clinically the color green has shown to calm us down. And also sometimes when you have plants with flowers, you can have such pretty colors and such life inside the house. However, there is the other side of plants, the fact that you need to take care of them as anything else. And also, I've figured out that after getting a cat, the fact that having plants, it's extremely dangerous because apparently cats are find half of the houseplants toxic. I really didn't know that, and that is something that you need to think before you get more plants.
Wow, give it up for Dimitra. All of the information about plants. Clearly, Dimitra has a lot to say about plants, from flowers and green color to cats. Incredible. Dimitra, how was it for you? How was it for you?
It was fine. It was fine. I felt in the moment that I started losing it, and I tried to bring it back and gather my thought, because like so many things were coming into my mind.
Yeah. Okay. But first of all, did we see that Dimitra was losing her train of thought? No, she's a pro. She's kind of what we call staying character. Nobody sees that you're nervous till you show it to them. So she's a pro at this. And as Etcha says, she's an expert, turns out. So she's an expert in plants. But there is also a lot that Dimitra told us about plants. But let's see what happens if we introduce clarity prompts. In clarity prompts, you know, we all have journaling prompts, right? Anybody use journaling prompts? Like, oh, journaling prompts are amazing. You just like write a prompt and all of a sudden I discover my thinking. We have prompts for AI. There was the whole hype in 2024, especially how do you prompt? But hey, our brain can respond to prompts even on the fly. Because there is this thing that we communicate in ideas, not in words. Not my phrase. Steven Pinker, who is the linguist, says we communicate in ideas, not in words. Now, what that means is if that you start your sentence with, basically, the point is your brain is going to funnel you the idea. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is your brain has this amazing ability to constantly give you clarity. The prompts are like little I need your help, English speakers. You know, the funnel, I guess you call it, or the spigot, you know, the thing that you put so you pour water and it doesn't go over. It's like there's this thing, that's what the prompt is. It's just going to funnel your idea. To make this clearer, we're going to actually put it to the test. Dimitra, what we're going to do is we're going to put you again the same topic, plans.
Yes.
But this time you're going to have clarity prompts appearing on the screen. Whenever you see the prompt, you can finish the sentence, but then incorporate the prompt and see what happens. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's see it.
So plants is a source of calmness, English words, calmness in your environment, and it's something that you can use to help you both physically and mentally to be better. Essentially, what they can do, they can be your therapies, your physical therapies, and so many other things. At the same time, plants can have an amazing training for your kids. What is important to remember is not to allow your kids just give them a plant and take them out in the wild. However, to help them adjust and learn how to take care of this living thing. The essence is to teach kids the importance of taking care of plant and how that can translate to other responsibilities when they're getting older. If you remember nothing else, just remember that a plant is a living thing and it's something that you can have for a long, long time in your life.
Wow, give it up for Dimitra. Let's have some reflections. What happened when Dimitra was using the prompts? What happened for you as a listener? What did you notice? Let's unmute. You can use the chat, but don't hesitate also to speak out. Just slow it down. Yeah.
It sounded more cohesive.
Okay. And what made it more cohesive for you, Georgia?
So it didn't feel as random. So it didn't go from one topic to another to another. It felt like it flowed and it made sense.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Anyone else? It gave it structure. Yeah. It gave it structure. Anyone else?
I did miss the cat though.
Yeah, I know the cat. I have cats too, and I know it's every plant goes the scrutiny. Is it toxic? Is it not? So I can relate. But that's where, when it comes to clarity, we have a lot of ideas. And now we have only 1 minute. And we're like, man, the cat, the kids, the thing, let me pack everything? But the person on the other side, like, whoa, so wait, what? Especially when it relates to our work. Imagine an engineer comes, or even I come to you and be like, Ultraspeaking, you know, we have this thing and community, and also you can play this game and you can trust yourself, but also you can use energy and you also can pause and actually, okay, now speak and use everything. Like, wait, what do I do? So clarity in a way, can we actually focus our brain? What is it that I'm trying to say? And the thing is that sometimes when we speak in prompt, we may not even know, but the moment we use a prompt, the magic happens. the magic happens that it's just boom. That's we're right there. So I would like to have another volunteer and have a little more difficult topic, maybe something for generalist world.
Difficult? What do you mean by more difficult?
More difficult is that plants is, we all use plants. It's very abstract, but maybe there's something you do, like for instance, Edge here is a community builder here. So there's maybe something about building a community. Somebody else maybe does something else. So something with that maybe you feel more stakes at, that you're like, oh, I really got to deliver.
Like more of a passion for?
Yeah, sure. How to sell yourself as a generalist. Oh, Anne, I love this. Who would like to take up this topic? Come on, raise your hand before you can think. Raise your hand before you can think. Otherwise, I'll ask Dimitra to pick a speaker. Ooh. All of a sudden, nobody stays on the Zoom call. And really, I want to say that I know how scary it is to speak in front of people. I've been there. But also, Dimitra, you just spoke. Do you feel fulfilled?
Can it be something that about the person's, what they do as a job as well?
Yeah, totally. Let's find the person. Let's find the person. We can figure out the topic.
Because I realized how to sell yourself as a generalist, it's like a lifelong question that we're all trying to answer, so it might be really loaded.
But that's where it would be interesting. That would be so interesting that you have this question even, wait, where do I even start? And then we're going to have the prompts to help you with this. Tom, I see you smiling in the sunshine. Would you like to volunteer? Sort of volunteer, but I'm calling you.
If you want to give me a go, sure thing.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So let's do this. And Tom, how to sell yourself as a generalist. That is your topic. You're going to have the prompts appear on the screen. And let's see what happens.
Yes. I come from a background in menswear design, having transitioned into operations through project management of increasing seniority in my background. The nature of that is you move less from an individual contributor to one of a manager of ideas, strategies, and so forth. The fundamental idea that underpins that is that you're passing on what you've learnt and orchestrating a bit more of a guide for those behind you. Basically, the point is I'm moving through this transition and learning from a lot more diverse inputs myself. And I, in other words, need to, honestly, this is jolly difficult. I don't find this at all straightforward. Because what I'm trying to say is that there is the background side, and then there's me pitching myself, and that would depend on who the audience would be.
Amazing. Given the conclusion, there is a background side and it depends on the audience. And hey, look, Tom just did, it's a difficult game because you're speaking, you have to incorporate, but how did it feel to actually, when you would say the prompt, how did it feel to your brain to find the idea?
Honestly, that was like seeing how good Dimitra was at it and seeing the two compared. She made it look a lot easier than I was expecting it to be. On the fly, that's something I've done and had like giving that description is something I've had to do in interview settings with a coach, and I don't think I'm bad at it, which I felt like I came across quite bad at it. The strange thing, and that's why I came to the conclusion, is I don't know where to start, for where I am now. I didn't really know who I'm speaking to, and that I found really difficult because I'm just kind of, am I giving myself an introduction to everybody on the call? Am I trying to do this as you're interviewing me? Are we an interview, a podcast setting? That was what I struggled with. And the prompts, while it gave structure, I felt like I was way off in the weeds, that I wasn't ready to move on to. Honestly, the start as well, I think I misunderstood that. I was expecting the prompt to kick me off, But then I just realized a few seconds in that had to go. Like that was all the flow that I was going through. And it was actually that was scary.
And Tom, if I would just point to something that is happening, that how many times in our life we can actually be in a situation where someone asks a question, maybe we're networking, maybe we came somewhere and all of a sudden, wait, do I say this at this people, or what do I do? Where am I going? Wait, am I was supposed to do this thing? So part of this is what we actually encounter in real life. And Tom, for you to feel a win from this, I would like for you to do it again. You're going to have the same prompts, but talk to us. It's just a group of people that a generalist world. You probably chat about something. Just let your brain be more free with this. You don't need to do it the right way. You're just talking to us. And when you see the prompt, just use the prompt, but own the prompt. It's very important even when you journal, for example, if you write the prompt and you kind of maybe, would I go there? No, you like the most important thing for me right now is, and boom, your brain completes. So let your brain complete, put your enthusiasm into this. Don't try to make it perfect. Okay. And let's see what happens with this. And also, give it up for Tom.
Give it up for Tom. And also to say to Tom that the whole time I was freaking out in my mind. And I thought I was doing horrible, so you're fine.
I love hearing this. Because, again, for me, this is the reality of a lot of impromptu speaking. It's like, if the situation is uncertain, if I'm not certain about something, what do I do? And part of it, you got to choose the direction and commit to it. Edge does the improv, I do improv, and improv has this thing, commit to the beat. You come on stage, you have no idea what's going to happen. But if you sort of, do we do this? Are we on the moon? Are we in Starbucks? I'm not sure. No, you got to pick, I'm either on the moon or in Starbucks. And the moment your scene partner gives you something else, you're like, okay, we're pivoting, but we're committing. We're committing to the thing. Okay, give it up for Tom. And Tom, let's do this once again. Let's go. Oops, sorry. Let's go.
Hi everyone, I'm Tom and I am an operations manager. I come as a generalist from a diverse background, and that began in fashion design. In that time, I gathered experience, moved through that into some more project lead, and the fundamental idea is one that you have learned what you do on a day job. You're able to orchestrate a team and put things together, both ideas and practical stuff that you've built up trust, and you can share that. So basically the point through that is learning a lot of this team and project management. I was able to broaden that into more operationals and bigger business end rather than pure individual contributor in a specialist. And clearly that's a generalist thing. So in other words, cultivating these like people skills and the orchestration stuff, you find yourself, I certainly have, in broader situations and ones where you have a bit more of an oversight role. It's very fun. And what I'm really saying is take everything you can, all the opportunities, learn it, build relationships with people, and you can pass on what you know and steer things well.
Wow, my gosh. Okay, if we didn't choose the topic here, I think I would say, yeah, we actually rehearsed with Tom. I asked him to kind of be uncertain in the first round. Okay, anybody, let's give some reflections. Boom, mic drop. Tom, that was amazing. Anyone else? Speak also. Thomas just did the crazy thing so phenomenally well. What did you notice?
Tom, that was amazing. And I wanted to hear you speak more. You were really interesting. And yeah, that was like a huge difference in the two. Well done.
Amazing. And Tom, what's the difference for you?
Having basically a do-over is a huge thing. My brain was able to filter through a lot of things for sure. I could kind of tailor that a bit and think of where I was going. To be honest, like I think it's just shown to me that internalizing those prompts, that I would try to not have them but memorize them. Like I've even been making notes before I got onto this of like, I always think of prompts as being topical, but you know the topics, having the prompts as the structure, like I've never thought of before. That is pretty impressive, and I'm going to try. It's difficult to work that into a presentation because you don't want public to see like the structure prompts necessarily. But I'm going to be thinking more of how I can do that, even if it's just through my memory. It was really cool.
And here's what actually Tom just used the prompt, which prompt is not that it was something engineered. We just noticed that we do it naturally. He said, honestly, here's what's happening. That's a prompt. So how do we use prompts? It's basically if we're blank, we can go, oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Basically, my point is, if I'm rambling, essentially what I'm trying to say, but to get to the point, and all of a sudden your brain delivers. If you're stuck, bottom line, what I'm trying to say is, so prompt is the reverse of where you are. And what's the cool thing is that we can use prompts not just for clarity, but also for conviction. We can use prompts for, actually, let's keep the base exercise, but we can use prompts to bring bolder language. For example, if I would tell you, conviction is a nice way to convey your ideas. Yeah, nice, cool. But if I tell you, conviction is a game changer, it changes how your ideas land. Right? Difference, we can see difference. Conviction is a nice way. Conviction is a game changer. So to use bold language, we can use that also the moment we feel, I'm kind of not bringing my enthusiasm. We can start saying it's absolutely crucial that we all tap into our conviction. And that matters a ton, because if I don't believe what I'm saying, and if I'm not channeling this to you, you probably would all say, yeah, cool, sure, I have a zillion other things to do. And I want to emphasize that conviction, we all have this. Again, there are no naturals and some people who have it. We all have this. We know that. We sometimes talk to our friends or family members with full conviction. So we can bring it to the spotlight. And I need another person to do the exercise with conviction prompts. Who would like to try? I would say in the sessions like this, there is no failure. The biggest failure is almost like not to try, because okay, you may not give the best speech, fine, then we have something to learn. Like Tom felt a little shaky in the first round. We debriefed it. He got some ways to now use the prompts. Wow, everything happened.
I'm going to say somebody really should do it, because it's really, like, it's so much more valuable, and it's like I'm thinking of tons of extra things having just gone through the experience. So like +1 huge recommendation.
Okay. We can definitely practice a pause. Is a very important skill in speaking too. But I think, yeah, Sarah. Okay, so let's how about we stay with the topic? How to sell yourself as a generalist. It sounds like an interesting topic. There is a lot of, and I'm sure all of you are happy to hear that. But Sarah, what is going to happen? You start speaking, and now you're going to have bold language, conviction prompts showing up on the screen. So again, finish your sentence, but when you read the language, own it. Like if you say, oh, it's a game changer, and like it's not going to work. You need to be, it's a game changer. Okay, own the prompt. So give it up for Sarah. How to sell yourself as a generalist. Let's go.
So I am a generalist, and what that means is essentially I have a bit of like a varied background. I've had different experiences, and this really adds value, and it matters a ton, because it means that I can transfer an experience that I had in a setting to other settings, and that really is supremely important to bring different perspectives in a new job, in a new setting where perhaps the company is stuck in their ways, and it can be life-changing, really, to have different experiences, and also try to go outside of your comfort zone and like continuously learn new things. And it frustrates me that like some people don't really understand that sometimes.
Yeah, come on, give it up for Sarah. Give it up for Sarah. Sarah, how was this for you?
It was was fun, but also I feel like I didn't get that much into my own personal experience in the same way. Like I didn't actually sell myself. I was just talking about more general what it means to be a generalist. But
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Any reflections for Sarah? The first time I did something that's not easy. When you play this game for the first time, it's like, oh my gosh, this thing is happening. Trying to speak, not easy. But any reflections? First, did we see that Sarah is nervous and doesn't know what she's talking about?
No, I think especially in the second half, she was just flowing really beautifully.
Yeah. And what happens for us as a listeners whenever we hear the conviction prompt or those bold language? It could be life-changing. What happens for the listeners?
It's a call to it calls back your attention, right? At least that's how I see it. It says, okay, yes, this person's about to make a point. Let me make a mental note of it.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing? It's like anytime when we even feel, oh, we're kind of getting a little bit, we said a lot, maybe we're losing the audience, and all of a sudden it's fundamental. Even before we know it, the brain is actually going to complete. When we were speaking at the beginning, that confident speakers have trust that their brain is going to deliver. But the only way to build that trust is do the scary thing like this, because we'll brush our teeth. We even drive a car, which is actually a very scary thing to do, if you remember learning to drive. But we drive it. We drive it with full confidence, even eating while driving. So it's something that we've done a lot. And Sarah, I would like for you to go again, right? The same topic, but right now bring even more of your enthusiasm to that. Okay. So you may have different conviction prompts right now, but the same topic, you wanted to mention something about yourself, but use the prompt, channel the enthusiasm. Right now, you know how it works. Let's give it up for Sarah. Let's see one more round.
Okay, so I'm a generalist, and I had studied management, business management, and innovation. And through that, I learned a lot about how it astonishes me when actually I can innovate things and like change how things how processes and like things happen. And it is really staggering to consider how that can apply to different settings, not just like businesses, but also, for example, sustainability, which is what I work on, and how to like, and look, the truth is that really what I'm trying to say is that being a generalist can add value to the way that you see things and the value that you bring to businesses. And it is really life-changing to try different things and to have people from different backgrounds in your business.
Amazing. Give it up for Sarah. Did we feel more energy in this one? But look, the truth is, I'm using right now the prompt. There's just 2 rounds of the game, and look the changes that we see. Just 2 rounds. And those skills, and my Zoom is even giving you balloons, and those skills to access clarity on the fly, to bring conviction that it's not just some kind of magic that somehow you need to access, you actually can spark it with the language. Once you have that trust, then the way we prepare for presentations changes. Because usually the way we prepare kind of leads us to sounding quite robotic. It's like, yeah, we memorized the script, we wrote it out, memorized, recited a few times. And we kind of saying, hey, we don't want to sound like robots. And if we just wing it, we probably go all over the place because we have so much to say as journalists, especially. I've been there and here, and it's like, oh, I have so many ideas. I'm like, okay, we need to be clear and we need to feel prepared. But at the same time, when we deliver, that it still feels natural and more spontaneous. And we say, let's change that process. Instead of writing, let's speak. Instead of memorizing, let's internalize. So remember, we communicate in ideas, not in language. Instead of reciting, then we can actually freestyle it. How do we do this? The key is time constraints. Because usually when we rehearse, we may have, okay, I have 2 minutes, let me do it for 2 minutes, again for 2 minutes, and again for 2 minutes. And now it's like we memorized, or maybe, oh my gosh, what's the line was before that line? Oh, okay, let's restart again. Whether we record a video, whether it's a presentation, but we say, no, let's change this. We can go for 2 minutes, then 1 minute, then 30 seconds, then 15 seconds, so that the time constraints actually help us to get to clarity. And I would like to get another volunteer so we can put it into practice. Do we have anyone? Paul, you spoke before.
Yeah, I'll go ahead.
Okay, so what's the topic for Paul? Or Paul, maybe there's something on your head that you're like, oh, I have a lot of ideas. I want to be a bit clearer. Or we can even go with, you can tell us about yourself.
Okay, all right. So I'll go talking about myself.
Okay. So Paul, what's going to happen? You're going to have 1 minute first. First, just 1 minute to tell us about yourself. Don't try to be too perfect, but still you have 1 minute. Tell us about yourself. And then we're going to make it less and less and less. Okay. So give it up for Tom. To tell us about yourself, there's a lot. Clearly, Paul, as a generalist, has a lot to share. And here you go, 1 minute.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Paul Uzule. Just now learning about Generalist. Took the assessment, realized I'm a translator, which ties really key into what I do as a product manager, because I like to translate complex things into ideas and solve problems for everyone. I like to solve problems for myself as well. I like thinking about things and how to solve those things. On a personal level, I love sports, soccer, I love cooking, and I love grilling. And I have a great family. I love my family. And when I'm not doing anything, I love to just chill and watch anime. So that's a little bit about myself. I'm also an engineer with a minor in econ. So I like to think that business and business ideas come easier to me. I might just be telling myself a lie, but that's a little bit about me.
Okay, amazing, amazing. Give it up for Paul. And please, everyone, let's light up some emojis, applause. It's a scary thing to do it. Let's support each other. Paul, now we're going to cut your time in half. You're going to have 30 seconds. So you just said a lot of things. There's your mind is right now on fire, but now you have 30 seconds. And in those 30 seconds, what's the most important things that you would not eliminate, but you would fit in 30 seconds? Okay, enjoy. 30 seconds.
Hi, everyone. Paul. I'm in product management. I love family, cooking and grilling. I love to solve problems. However that comes around in solving problems. I try to understand complex ideas and solve those problems. At a personal level, I love to relax and watch anime, spend time with my family and cook and grill.
Okay, amazing. Give it up for Paul. And Paul, now we're going to reduce it again in half. You're going to have, 15 seconds. If you have 15 seconds, what do we need to know about you? What's most important? 15 seconds.
I love solving problems for whatever industry, and I love spending time with my family. And my spare time, I love cooking and grilling and watching anime.
Okay, give it up for Tom. Give it up for Tom. What did we didn't notice as the time was shrinking?
I think just the focus on what to say and less rambling is key.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And for the listeners, essentially what he loved professionally, I see in chat, he was able to fill out exactly what he wanted to say, and conviction goes up. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I hear someone else is speaking.
I was going to say it got clear what Paul wanted us to know about him, because the last version didn't say that you're a product manager. You said that you enjoy solving problems. And so that gives me a different lens on who you are.
Exactly. Because when it comes to presentations, or even when we have the time to speak, clarity is important. It's like ultimately, yeah, I do this thing. Well, the moment I'm very clear, hey, I love solving problems. And now if I can add even family to this, the fact that I love solving problems doesn't matter even for the industry. That's a whole different perspective versus I'm a product manager and I'm a father and I'm this. It's like, hey, I love solving problems. And when we do in our courses, the accordion method, we also go up the accordion method, because once you clear, this is my key idea. That's what I would love to talk about myself. Now you can add all of the metaphors, stories, examples, bullet points. But if that idea is not clear, then it's very shaky. And the good thing is that when you do it through speaking and time constraints, each time you're able to communicate what matters in a new way. Like again, you clear on the idea, the words would come. The words always come. The best speaking comes when you don't need to actually look for the words. So that allows you to feel prepared, but without feeling robotic or super rehearsed. So to recap what we've done today, whenever you're rambling, have one goal is to get to the point. And we explored today that, hey, you can have prompts to help you get on to the point. They're like little rerouting mechanisms in your brain, and they work like magic. The same, to bring conviction, you need to use bold language. So anytime when maybe you say, well, it's kind of interesting, it's absolutely fascinating. It's sort of important, it's crucial. And to avoid sounding like a robot, we practice with time constraints. And again, I want to recap this myth that the best speakers have something that we don't. And it's a myth because, again, I right now go on stages, perform. People sometimes come to me and say, oh my gosh, you're so natural. And I always laugh because it still doesn't feel to me always natural. There are moments, but it also takes a lot of cringy moments to get there. So the best speakers, they believe something that we don't, and we can train this. They believe that their brain will deliver, especially when it matters. It's like they have this butler, and we all have that butler that gives them confidence, clarity, and conviction. And it sounds like magic, but it's not magic. You can do it too. And I'm super passionate about this. That's why I'm a coach here, because I think it's a life-changing, it's not even a skill. I don't know if it's a skill, but it's a life-changing mindset. Like Tom today is like, oh my gosh, I can do this. It's like, it feels so different. I need more of this. But I love how Michael put it, that we have the zipped file in our brain. We just need to double click it. The only thing, I wish we could sit like this and double click it. I meditated for 20 years. And my biggest thing was, who's this person who sits and meditates and journals? But the moment I need to speak, there's a different version of me. I don't even know who this person is. Whose ideas am I speaking out? And that's why the fastest way to get better at speaking is to practice with people. Like imagine if I sent you this presentation or the games and say, hey, do it by yourself. That would not have been even nearly as impactful or fun as to do it with other people. That's our Ultraspeaking community. That's one of our cohorts. You can see me here. I'm a big fan of this community. And actually, when you say you're a community builder, I love communities. I just think we always emphasize that it's all about my personal self-growth. But life is so relational, and speaking is very much relational. Like, anybody ever sings in the car or dances? Anybody is like, hey, I'm driving like da 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 da. Yeah, I see a few. So Amy is raising her hand. There's a few people. What happens if a car stands right next to you and the person is looking? Would you keep singing or dancing, or would you stop?
Stop.
Stop. Yeah, I know. Okay, Amy is a very rare person who wouldn't. Amazing, my champion. Right now, I wouldn't stop, but for me, it would be like my personal challenge to not stop. And I think there is something about this, that when we're being observed, something changes in us. That's where we all know how to speak. But the moment we're observed, there's this weird thing that somehow we're like, oh, wait, I got to be perfect. And so we think, hey, practicing with other people is really, really important, because if you don't practice with people, it's kind of like we all can give speeches in the shower, we all can sing in the shower. But when other people are involved, that's where it's less fun and the stakes are not that high. But with people, you get lots of rep, you get feedback like we get today, and it feels more enjoyable. And we have the community that you can come and join. There is a free session every week. Would love to see you in that session. We have live classes. We have people who support each other. We have cohorts. If you have any other questions about this, I'm happy to answer. But I would highly recommend to take this link, because this link absolutely changed my life. I know right now I'm part of Ultraspeaking team, but generally I'm here because the me that you would have met 4 or 5 years ago would be a different version of me. The core essence of me was the same, but how I would talk to you not knowing you would be very different, and I would not be leading this workshop for you. So with that, we have a few minutes left. Any questions on anything? Any doubts? Bring it on. And Anne also put it in the chat.
Yeah, thanks, Anne, for sharing the link. Yeah. Also, before we're wrapping up, I just wanted to again shout out to Dimitra, Tom, and Sarah, and Paul for like taking the stage. I know it's like really frightening, so well done, guys, and thank you.
How about we light up a screen with an emoji for them? Let's do it on 1, 2, 3. So choose an emoji and let's do on 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, let's go. Emojis, emojis, emojis. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I know that I will be sharing the links in the post-event email, but like, how can people reach out to you and Anne? Like, maybe if you want to share your contact information as well on the chat, feel free to do that, Ganga.
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn, but also reach out to Ultraspeaking team. Anne is also with us. She is part of our core team in our leadership. And would you like to add anything?
Sure. I think the best way to engage with us is really to join the app, because that's where we hang out. It's where we go to the live classes, and you can either join the app in the free version, which means there are free live classes and games, or you can have a coach-led experience where someone like Ganga actually guides you through the process over 30 days. And those are our cohorts. So I hope you'll join us, and we'll see you soon, and we'll be back soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully we'll have loads of sessions with you guys, because this is one of the favorite and most demanded GW Open sessions. Yeah, so feel free to reach out to me as well if anyone kind of has a question. I'm more than happy to forward the questions to Anne and Ganga and the.
I see that Tom has a good question in the chat. How do these tips work for learning, delivering longer talks? And Tom, when it comes to accordion method, first, depending, let's say if you have an hour talk, I wouldn't put an hour on the timer. That's way too long. But you could put, let's say, 5 minutes, and then just speak out everything that comes to your mind. Then reduce the time. And reduce the time again, so it comes to literally 30 seconds, 15 seconds, that you have the core idea. That once people walk out from your talk, there's like, oh, here's what he's speaking about. And then go up the accordion method to add any facts, personal stories, data, anything that can support that idea. Now that you have this, you also would say, okay, I would start with this concept. Now do accordion method for a section of your presentation. So let's say if you're opening up with a certain principle, if let's say I would take this presentation, if I would do accordion method, I would go, okay, what's in general difference between people who speak and don't speak? Now I can do accordion method to come to certain clarity. That for me, there's a big myth that there are naturals and non-naturals. And let's build around this idea. Then the next section would be, okay, clarity, how do we get there? Right? And I can do accordion method for a section of those of the presentation. Then you have clarity. What's my presentation about? Let's say if I jump into the session and it just says, Ganga, actually, sorry, we only can do 30 minutes. Now I have good clarity. Okay, what's most important? What should I just kick out of this session? What stays? And it doesn't depend on my script that I'm like, which line should I give out? I know exactly some ideas, so maybe examples that I really would like to give. And some that, yeah, sure, if I don't have time, I can leave it out. Yeah. And when it comes to prompt, you can use it in accordion method itself while preparing. You can literally just spark yourself in other words and see what comes out. But also whenever you present and like, wait, where I am. So to get back to the point, or to make it even simpler, and use a prompt to really funnel the idea. Try that out because it works like magic. You just have to bring confidence and commitment to the prompt, like that part of the energy and confidence. But again, if I leave you with one idea, I know we're over the time, over 1 minute, it's practice. Confidence comes from overcoming obstacles. So the more you put yourself in situations like this, the more you develop unshakable trust that it works. So do the cringy reps, do not perfect reps, and then keep trying things that ultimately is like, I know it works. I can navigate this. There are no naturals and non-naturals. It's just people who've done it many times, maybe since childhood. And there are people who have not done or had a bad experience and decided I'm not going to do it. And thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Thank you for participating in chat or speaking. It was an absolute pleasure to be with you.
Yes, and thank you, Ganga. It was great. And thank you for the last part as well. It's really useful. And as Amy said, it's really useful for the preparing for job interviews. I will leave with this. We have another recorded session on our YouTube from Eleanor, another Ultraspeaking coach, about, I believe the topic was how to do concise speaking and like being more clear on your ideas as well. So have a look at that as well. Well, hope to see everyone again.
If you join our app, we also have free little courses that can help you, guide you through this, and a bunch of people who practice job interviews. So again, you can practice with other people.
Yeah, great shout. All right. Thank you so much for spending your time with us, everyone, and hope everyone has a great rest of the week and hope to see you all again.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.